Welcome today to this webinar on another cost action called cost action with the acronym BETTER. So that stands for biosecurity enhanced through training, evaluation and raising awareness. This is a cost action that started last year, so it's only in the beginning phase. But is somehow linked to sound control, as it's all about biosecurity, which is of course also very important when controlling cattle diseases. Better is a little bit broader than just cattle. It also involves poultry and pigs. But Alberto will tell us everything about this cost action in a minute.
So, well, first of all, thanks for the invitation and for giving the opportunity to present this cost action. And as Inge said, my name is Alberto Allepuz, and I'm located in Barcelona, working in the Autonomous University of Barcelona. And the idea is to present this cost project that we began in October 2021, and is going to finish in 4 years' time. So our challenge is very generic, and it was to try to, in a way, to improve biosecurity and to reduce the risk of spread of pathogens, and not only for exotic diseases, but also for endemic diseases. And for the moment, we are focusing, but as you know, cost actions are quite dynamic and quite open, and we are focusing in cattle, in pigs, and poultry. But if at some point on time there is a group of people that is interested in also including a small ruminants, or they are also included, as some people have asked also us, they want also to include the aquaculture. That's a matter of having the critical mass, and the number of people that would also get involved. But for the moment, all our activities are focused in cattle and also in poultry and in pigs. So this main challenge has been divided in 4 working groups, and each of them is trying to address a specific challenge, and there are different objectives and different tasks that we are trying to implement through each of these working groups. So working group 1, what is trying to do, what the challenge they're trying to address is to know how biosecurity is applied in Europe, but not only in Western Europe, also in Eastern Europe, and also how it's being applied in countries that are neighboring us, in near neighbor countries. So that will be their challenge, and also not only in farms, also in animal transport. Then we have a second working group that they are trying to, in a way, to try to scale up what are the different knowledge and experiences of different stakeholders. The idea is not only to identify what are the barriers or the motivators, but also to try to use this information to, in a way, to better focus the training, and also to better focus the communication strategies to try to persuade or to increase the awareness to apply biosecurity. Then we have a third working group that is more methodological, but this was motivated by the fact that there are different ways to evaluate biosecurity. There are different methods that can be used to know what is the level of biosecurity, or what is the risk of infection of that farm based on the biosecurity. And also there may be different ways to try to evidence the possible benefits of biosecurity implementation. So this working group, number 3, will try to compile all the different methods, and if possible to try to compare and see what are the strengths and weaknesses of the different methods. And then we will have a fourth working group that will try to improve and to increase the number of professionals that are trained on biosecurity by evaluating this aspect of the training. So more specifically, here are just some lines of the objectives of the different working groups. So as I said, working group 1 will try to map the application of biosecurity measures, and also in a way to try to identify what are the main knowledge gaps, and also to try to identify in those settings where biosecurity is more challenging. And here we would have like extensive production systems, or we could have small holders, or we have transhumans, or we could even have a backyard where biosecurity cannot be approached like an intensive industrial big farm. So to try to use the network to get ideas on how, which kind of measures could be realistically applied in these production systems. In number 2, as I said, they are trying to scale up knowledge and experiences. So yeah, to identify motivators, obstacles, to try to understand also perceptions of different stakeholders. Here we intend to be quite broad and not only talk with farmers and not only talk with the veterinarians, but maybe also include the opinion of lay people, public, general public that are not necessarily linked with farms and with animal transport, but they could eventually have an impact on the application of biosecurity measures because they demand specific production systems, and also they could have a role in the spread of diseases, like for example with African swine fever and hunting. And also this working group number 2 to try to also to provide guidelines and good practices on communication on biosecurity. As I said, number 3, we'll try to evaluate methods to evaluate biosecurity, to see how the benefits can be demonstrated, and also ideally at the end to try to develop some guidelines for the implementation of tailored biosecurity measures at the farm level. And the objectives of working group 4 would be more in the line to try to know what is there about the training and even also research projects, to try to generate what we call a biosecurity portal. And we would like to have a place where everyone that is interested in biosecurity could find what they need. So ideally, we would like to make a biosecurity portal where you can find information on biosecurity, and you have like their reference site, in a way where you can find all the information in relation to biosecurity. And also to see what is the training needs and what kind of training should be done in relation to biosecurity to different type of people, from undergraduate to professionals that are working on the field. So those are the general objectives that we have in our cost action. What is the approach? I think we have done it. Now we have to put this in practice. We have been able to join different people with different backgrounds. So I think that in the network we have different disciplines involved. We have epidemiologists. I am working in epidemiology. Yeah, we have this kind of people, but we also have people that are good in economics. We have also psychologists, sociologists. We have some communication experts and wildlife experts. So I think that this join of different disciplines would be very positive to try to approach these objectives that we have. Some of them, I think that they are quite ambitious, but we will try to go for them. We also, especially in working group 2, to use a bottom-up approach. In this working group 2, they are planned, or the idea, ideally, we should be able to do some participative actions in which we can scale up this knowledge and experience of people, to try to use also their knowledge and their experience to identify solutions and to create some innovations in a way. And also, especially with working group 3, we try to also explore the technology, to see which are the different methods, which are the different technology that is available that could be useful to measure biosecurity and also to measure the benefits of the implementation of biosecurity. This is the core group. This is something common to different cost actions or anything special. Maybe what we have created here also is a new role, that is the stakeholder engagement coordinator, because we think that biosecurity we need to give to reinforce this part of the stakeholder engagement, and we create this figure also in the structure of chair, vice chair, science communication, grant awarding, and different working group leaders. So we also created this. I also here put the names of the people that is involved. Maybe some of them you already know. I am the chair with Elias from GANT as vice chair. Then we have Caetano and Jose as grant awarding coordinator, and Claude from BS, and Mimi from Finland also as the stakeholder engagements. And the different working group leaders, you have Jasna from Serbia, Telmo from Portugal, Maria and Giovanna from Scotland and Spain. Number 3, we have Lena Mari from Sweden and Miroslav from Macedonia. And group 4, we have Handan from Turkey and Telmo from Estonia. Maybe some of these people, you might know them already, and maybe they are also involved in some activities of the sound cost action. The cost is growing, which is good. And as any cost action, not everyone actively participates, but we have a lot of people for the moment. And for the moment, they have joined 204 participants and from 40 different countries. For being the first year, I think is very good. Then we have people from most of the European countries. Even for Northern Africa, we don't have so many people, and we should involve them a little bit more. And we also have participants from Argentina, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand at this moment. So what are we doing now? That is the structure of the cost action. Those are our working groups, and those are the objectives that we have planned for this for this 4-year project. So what we are doing, and of course, you are very welcome to join. Even there are 200 people, there is not so many people that is actively involved. So of course, you are very welcome to join any of the things that we are doing. What we are doing in this first year in working group 1, that as I said before, they are trying to map the implementation of biosecurity measures in farms and animal transport. This working group we have divided in 3 subgroups, one for each species. So we have one subgroup for cattle, we have one subgroup for pigs, we have one subgroup for poultry. Until now, we have been working online. We have not had any meeting face-to-face. We have our first face-to-face meeting now in June. And as you probably have also experienced, working online is challenging, no? But still, we have been able to do these subgroups, and some ideas have already been put in the groups, and they are trying to identify what are the different data sources. They're also doing some literature review, and they are trying to do this. And suppose that in the next meeting in Lisboa, this will be more clear how we are going to obtain this information about the biosecurity in the different animal species. And for the moment, this working group is focusing in commercial. And for the moment, the discussion about what can be done in smallholders' backyard or places more challenging, that for the moment will be addressed later. For these first years, they are trying to obtain as much as information, or at least the data sources, most of the data that they can, of the different species and from different areas of Europe, and also from countries neighboring Europe. That is what is working on working group 1. Working group 2, they have also created 2 subgroups that, of course, you're also invited to join some of them if you're interested on, plus an extra task. The 2 subgroups, one of them, they have already drafted a survey that is being discussed, have been discussing online for the last months, and in this discussion will continue. And here they are focusing at this moment on learning attitudes, perception, and experiences, and also expectations of the general public. For the moment, they are not targeting farmers, veterinarians. We will do that also in the next step. For the moment, they are trying to target what is the view of the general public in relation to biosecurity. And the way that they are trying to do this at this moment is doing this online survey that will be distributed among contacts of the network, consumers associations, and we will see how. I not exactly know how it will be done, but I suppose that in this way. There's a second group that is working at the moment in a literature review. They are planning a protocol to do, like, I think that not exactly a systematic review, but something similar to. And they are trying to do this literature review on which are the different papers that have been published in relation to all these part of psychosocial factors that could influence the decision making on biosecurity implementation. That has been in the last year, there has been a lot of studies on this, several studies, and the idea is to try to compile all of this information. And the third, and maybe you have also received this email if you have probably through EpiDet or through some contacts. We are trying to this is done by the stakeholder engagement group, and they are leading this survey to try to make a survey about what is the agreement on the different existing definitions on biosecurity. You have here the link. You could also now directly contribute to this survey. They have identified, I think, that 9 different biosecurity definitions. The idea is to see what is the more popular one and what is the agreement of most of the people agree or not in the same definition. That is for working group 2. That's what they are doing at the moment. We have also a working group 3. Also, working group 3 have been split in 2 different subgroups. They both have the same objective at the end, but the approach is different. In a way that both subgroups at the end, they would like to identify which are the different methods that are being used to evaluate biosecurity and the benefits of applying biosecurity. But on one hand, we are doing a survey that would be an online survey. We have done different discussions online of the different questions that we should include in that survey and who we should target. And the idea is to launch this survey, suppose by the end of July or maybe beginning of September. So through this survey, we like to see which are the methods that are there or that people are using. And on the other hand, we will also do a literature review to identify which studies have been done to assess biosecurity and the benefits of biosecurity. And this is also a protocol to do this literature review. Is something that we are also beginning to work and will be further discussed in this one. And final activities that are currently being done in working group 4, also through 2 different subgroups. On one hand, is again, we are maybe too much, but that's what we are doing. We are trying to do again to identify the different trainings that are on biosecurity in different faculties, by different organizations, by different people. We want to map this to see what are the biosecurity programs, courses that are being done at the moment. And also the group is thinking on how this biosecurity portal should be structured. What is the structure that we should have, what information would be useful to be there, if we have biosecurity measures that are disease specific or more generic by species. Well, this structure is something that is being discussed by a group of people, and the idea is once we have that, we will try to put it in the website, and then we should also feed it. Some of these works, we also have done this call this year for doing short-term scientific missions and virtual mobility. We made a call and we proposed 9 topics. Some of these topics will complement some of the activities that I have just explained in the slides before. Indeed, the first 2 topics are related with working group 1 to try to review biosecurity measures applied. One is in pigs and the other one is in poultry. 3 and 4 are linked to working group 2 to help give support these participatory actions and this program for this protocol for the review. And 5, no? Yeah, 3, 4, and 5. Then we have, 3 and 4 is working group 2. Then we have 5 and 6 that are linked to working group 3, the literature review and the online survey. I have 7 and 8 that are linked to working group 4 and 9 that is related to biosecurity definition. However, in this case, topic 9 will not be that online survey because there are 2 parallel initiatives to work in this biosecurity definition. And the different online meetings, I was surprised. expect so much discussion about the biosecurity definition, but in the group this happened, and there are like different views on that. So we decided to put some efforts here. And indeed, there are now two initiatives. One is the online survey through Line that the group of Crot in Liège University have compiled 9 different biosecurity definitions. And also this other work, topic 9, this will involve more like a consensus methodology, and there will be like different rounds of discussing about different biosecurity definitions or extra biosecurity definitions that could come up, and in a way to try to find a consensus definition, and suppose that in some moment both initiatives have to converge. So yeah, that's another topic of discussion about what means really biosecurity. Our next activity is the face-to-face meeting that we have in Lisbon, that we are going to have in the 8th and 9th of June, face-to-face, the first time that we are going to see the faces of some people. It will be an hybrid meeting, so if some of you want to join, we will also have the possibility to join through Zoom. For the moment, we have not put the links of Zoom or of the Zoom meeting in the program because I do not have them still, but the colleagues from Lisbon, suppose in the next days, will send me the links, and then the idea is to update the program that is in the website and include different links so people could also join to the discussions and to the presentations online. Indeed, the idea in the first day is to have like a keynote. Is coming Jean-Pierre Valancourt from Canada. He's going to give a keynote. Then we will have like half an hour for participants selected presentations. Here I ask people from the cost action to send posters. So the idea is to select, let's say, 5 posters and give a flash presentation. So it would be a way to know what we are all doing on biosecurity and to share the different activities that we have. Then we will have, with a group of the stakeholder engagement group, we'll have what they say a work cafe. I'm not very sure what we are going to do here, but I think that the idea is to discuss on what is the best strategy to engage stakeholders, and also to identify which are the targets, which are the more important stakeholders to engage. And then we'll have, as you will probably have had in different meetings, different parallel working group meetings. And then the day 2, I don't have here the screenshot. We have also a keynote, 2 keynotes presentations from people from Portugal. One related with social economic factors, and the other one, someone from the field that will explain what are the biosecurity needs of people that is working on the field. And then we will continue having some parallel working group discussions, and then the management committee. So that's something that we are going to have. You can also join through online if you are interested on. Another thing we will do in September, Liège is going to organize a training school on biosecurity. It will be for different species, and this is like a very draft program because still we don't have a final program, but the idea will be to try to cover some or maybe all of the topics that are presented in this slide. But still, the program is not closed, and this is something that we have planned, and we have the budget for doing that on September, but we don't have a final program for that training school. So that's our main activities. That's the structure of the project, the objectives. That is what we are doing now in the different working groups. We have also developed this website. I leave here the link, so you can also go there and see a little bit more what we are doing if you are interested on. We also have done a flyer to disseminate the project, and that flyer can be also downloaded in PDF from the link I leave here in the slide. And in the flyer we try to put very brief description of what is about the cost action, what is our objectives, and the different working groups that we do have. And yeah, if you want to get involved going through the cost action, you just have to apply and join any working group that could be of your interest, and you will be in the system, and then you will receive the emails, and you will have the opportunity to get involved and participate in some of the of the activities. And I think I have been really fast. I don't know how much are these webinars normally, but I have only been like half an hour. But it's our first year. I do not have much more to explain about the action, because indeed we do not have much results. Still, all the work is in progress, and those are the tasks and the activities that we are developing at the moment.